Young people hold the keys to the future, yet many feel sidelined and undervalued. What happens when the most energetic, idealistic generation is left jobless, or when their voices, amplified by technology, go unheard? Today, we're diving into how youth are reshaping geopolitics and what this means for the world's future stability and progress. All right, buckle up, folks, because geopolitics just got Gen Z'd. Across the globe, youth populations are either the world's biggest asset or its biggest uh-oh moment waiting to happen. In places like Sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, and the Middle East, you've got a youth bulge, basically a lot of people under 30. Picture a soda can about to explode. When managed well, this means fresh energy, innovation, and economic growth. But ignore their needs, like education, jobs, and TikTok-worthy political participation, and well, that soda can might burst in your face. Nigeria and Ethiopia, for example, are set to have the largest youth populations by 2050. If they invest in their young people, they could crush it economically. If not, cue unemployment, protests, and maybe a few too many episodes of chaos. And speaking of shaking things up, youth-led movements have been kicking democracy into gear for centuries. These aren't your parents' protests either. These are live-streamed, hashtag-powered revolutions. Remember the Arab Spring? Young people with smartphones and a serious case of we've had enough toppled regimes in Tunisia, Egypt, and Libya. Or take Hong Kong, where young protesters fought to keep democratic freedoms alive against Beijing's growing influence. They've mastered the art of mixing memes with megaphones, and the results are powerful. But here's the not-so-funny side of it. Youth unemployment is like a ticking time bomb for political stability. When millions of young people are left jobless, frustration builds faster than you can say economic meltdown. Tunisia's Mohamed Bouazizi, the guy who literally set himself on fire in 2010, became the tragic face of this problem. His desperate act sparked the Arab Spring, proving that ignoring youth struggles is a global recipe for disaster. Today, countries like Iraq and South Africa, where youth unemployment tops 50%, are prime examples of how bad things can get if this issue is left to fester. On the flip side, some nations are all about making friends through soft power. Scholarships, cultural exchanges, and outreach programs are their tools of choice to win over young hearts and minds worldwide. China's Confucius Institutes, for example, teach Mandarin and culture as a way to sprinkle some made-in-China charm across the globe. Meanwhile, the U.S. has been dishing out Fulbright scholarships like candy, building ties with the world's future leaders, and maybe securing a few extra invites to global parties. Oh, and let's not forget the internet. The digital revolution has made youth geopolitics go viral. Social media platforms have turned into megaphones for young voices, helping them organize protests, share information, and roast world leaders into action. Remember Greta Thunberg's global climate strikes? Millions of kids with homemade signs, and an eye for brutal one-liners, demanded change. Or look at Myanmar, where youth used social media to rally international support after the military coup in 2021. Never underestimate the power of a trending hashtag. Of course, not all young people have the luxury of Wi-Fi and witty captions. In conflict zones, youth face some of the darkest challenges: violence, displacement, and exploitation. Groups like the Lord's Resistance Army in Central Africa or ISIS in the Middle East have been known to recruit disaffected young people, taking advantage of their frustration with unemployment and exclusion. Solving these issues isn't just about being nice, it's a global security priority. Programs focused on education, mental health, and job creation can help reintegrate these youth into society and reduce instability. And let's talk about migration for a sec. Youth migration is reshaping entire economies and cultures. For host countries, young migrants often fill labor gaps and boost growth. But for their home countries, the brain drain is real. Take the Syrian refugee crisis. While Europe gained a much-needed workforce, Syria lost a generation of skilled young people, setting its recovery back by decades. It's a classic case of win-lose that's hard to fix. But here's some good news. Education is the ultimate game changer. Countries investing in youth education are setting themselves up for global dominance in tech, innovation, and beyond. India's focus on STEM, that's science, tech, engineering, and math, has turned it into a tech powerhouse, with Indian engineers basically running Silicon Valley. It's proof that putting books in kids' hands pays off big time. International organizations are also stepping up their game. The UN's Youth Strategy, launched in 2018, focuses on empowering young people to achieve those shiny, sustainable development goals. and the World Bank's funding for youth training programs is a step in the right direction. Regional organizations like the African Union have even implemented youth charters to promote political participation and economic inclusion. Finally, climate change. If you think it's all doom and gloom, think again, because young people are taking the lead here too. Greta Thunberg's Fridays for Future movement got world leaders to, reluctantly, address climate issues, while millions of youth activists continue to push for renewable energy and green tech innovation. It's like a worldwide group project, but this time, everyone's actually doing their part. So yeah, young people aren't just sitting around waiting for change. They're the ones making it happen. I'll leave you to discuss in the comments about how youth are reshaping geopolitics and what this means for the world's future stability and progress. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I'll catch you soon in another video.